We originally fell in love with hiking because it was an almost always free activity that helped us get into beautiful nature, but so did a lot of other people. The popularity of hiking has quadrupled since 2019, and accordingly, a lot of hiking trails have dramatically increased their pricing over the last few years, making this once affordable activity pretty out of reach for a lot of travelers. We just arrived in Chile's Torres del Paine National Park to start the W Trek, a popular multi-day backpacking trip, which over the course of 50 miles takes you to several different refugios. The prices here have dramatically increased over the recent years. For example, we're paying $180 per person per night to stay in a hostel dorm here. The park has attributed this dramatic increase in pricing as a way to protect its fragile landscape from over-tourism. So over the course of the next 6 days, we're going to take you through some of the most epic landscapes, battle some crowds, and show you exactly what $180 per night in a refugio in Chile gets you. The W Trek is a point-to-point hike, so you can either hike it east to west or west to east. It's pretty hotly debated which way is better. We're doing it east to west because the steepest part is on the east side, so we kind of wanted to get that out of the way. We're going to be hiking a total of 9.3 miles today. Our first stop is Refugio Chileno. A refugio, in case you don't know, is essentially a mountain hut where they have campsites as well as cabins that you can stay in at the different refugios. Sometimes we're going to be staying inside in beds, sometimes we're going to be staying at tents. I actually don't even remember which one we're going to be doing tonight, so it'll be a surprise. We are officially on the W part of the W Trek, and I think we're pretty close to our first refugio.
So we just got to Chileno. We've got a little over 3 miles till Torres del Paine, and we were hoping to drop our packs because right now they're completely full with all of our food for the entire week. We just noticed this sign behind us that says, checkout is at 9, check-in isn't until 2 p.m. First order of business, eat lunch, then we'll figure out what to do with our bags.
We just finished lunch at Refugio Chileno and we dropped off our bags. So thankfully we lined our load by approximately 25 pounds. Now we are doing our final leg of the hike today to Torres del Paine, which is kind of the big highlight of the trail. They look kind of cloudy right now, so I'm hoping that it'll clear up. The last half mile up to Torres del Paine is very steep and very rocky. It's more akin to scrambling in some parts than hiking. We officially made it. The towers are a little covered right now. Something that I forgot to mention, there's cutoffs for when you can hike to certain places. You have to leave here by 4 p.m. We've been waiting for about an hour and a half, hoping that the clouds behind me are gonna lift. We only have 10 more minutes. I'm guessing they're unfortunately not going to, but every once in a while the sun will pop out and the color of the lake is just absolutely wild.
There's like hundreds of people here right now. That means there must have been 500-600 people up here, so maybe we'll get really lucky, it'll clear out.
Even though Torres del Paine doesn't look exactly how I imagined, it's still incredibly stunning. The turquoise water is just insane, and something that I never really appreciated just by looking at photos of this is that there's dozens, if not maybe over 100 little waterfalls that are cascading from the snow around the towers down to the lake. It's just unbelievably beautiful. There's also these like jagged granite cliffs jutting out of the earth. It seriously looks like something out of like Lord of the Rings. Some of the most dramatic landscapes I've ever seen. Unfortunately, the towers never wound up coming out for us, but we stayed until 4 when the lookout closed, and there is basically no one on the trail hiking back down now. And maybe that's a pro tip because it was not great hiking here. It was so crowded. It's very hard because there's lots of ups and downs on very narrow pathways, so people can't really like get around each other on very slippery rocks.
We just got our tent and Jessica's already up there getting situated. I haven't seen it yet.
This is what $100 per person per night gets you. It's kind of nice that our tent is elevated, so in the event there's rain, then otherwise they give you a like tent pad, 2 sleeping bags, and a pillow. We also get hot showers, flushing toilets, and 2 free welcome drinks, which I think we will probably be taking advantage of in short order.
Do the sleeping bags look clean?
For how dirty and gross most people hiking this trail probably are, they're really...
Well, they've got to wash them, right? Let's pretend like they wash them. Oh God.
Well, I'm kind of an insane person and decided to wake up at 3:15 in the morning to come hike up to the towers again to hopefully catch them at sunrise. Unfortunately, it's a little bit of a rainy, cloudy day. The weather here can change instantly, so it's not crazy to sit here and kind of wait for something to happen. And I still have 45 minutes until sunrise, so keep your fingers crossed. Can't totally see the towers yet, but at least they're kind of peeking out. I have hope now that maybe they'll come out. I can actually see the towers for the first time. A lot of the mountains in the area got a fresh coat of snow at night. It's just absolutely beautiful. It's making me even clapped. I'm so happy I got to see it. I stayed at the towers for like an hour and a half. We still have, I think in total today I'm gonna have to hike around 13 miles, so I have to get back to the Refugio, but man, I cannot pull myself away. I just can't believe, I have to show you this. They're still just peeking out over the top of those rocks.
We've officially made it back down the western leg of the W Trek. We are now headed towards Cuernos and hopefully downhill for the rest of the day. And I'm really looking forward to it because the lake that this trail goes by is just this stunning robin's egg blue. I think we're in for a really beautiful hike.
If you look to the left of me, it's the path that people take to walk up to Torres del Paine, and it is crowded right now. It's maybe like 10 a.m. However, the path that we're on, we've only passed 2 people in the last 50 minutes.
Look at this lake behind us. I mean, I didn't even know they made blue in those colors. You never hear people talking about anything else but the towers. And man, this hike has just been so incredibly beautiful. And not just this lake, but look at these snow-capped mountains in the background. This hike has so much to offer.
I don't think I really appreciated just how diverse the landscape is here, but you have mountains, you got glaciers, you got turquoise lakes. Welcome to Refugio Cuernos. This is where we're spending our second night on the W Trek. If you look around me, has to be one of the most beautiful refugios in the park. There's a river, giant mountains, just greenery everywhere. So at this refugio, they have cabins, dorms, and tent sites. We are staying in the dorm. I tried to find the most affordable option where you didn't have to bring your own gear. That might have been based on availability or other circumstances, but in any event, for one dorm hostel per person, it's $180 per night. So pretty steep, but it's very nice at the end of the day to have a nice comfy bed to get into. In addition to all of those accommodation options, they have bathrooms, hot showers, and a restaurant. Very quickly, because there's no one in the room, this is our lovely dorm bed. You get a sleeping bag and a pillow. And a USB outlet to charge your stuff. Pretty skimpy on the amenities side. I think you're definitely paying for the location. There's no shelves, there's no drawers, there's no nothing. So your backpack is on the ground. There's really no place to set anything if you're trying to organize your gear. Justin just took a shower and apparently there's like no place, there's literally one hook on the wall and then no other place to put your clean clothes or your soap or anything like that. For $180 per night, I would have hoped that it's a little bit kind of better thought out, but I guess we are in an extremely remote place.
Patagonia's recent increase in tourism has gone hand in hand with a steep increase in prices here. For example, in 2019, it cost $30 for the Torres del Paine park entrance fee, as compared to $75 today, and a hostel bed that cost $95 is now $180. And the price increases in Patagonia extend beyond Torres del Paine. For example, hiking Los Glaciares National Park in the popular mountain town of El Chaltén, Argentina used to be totally free up until October of 2024, when the price steeply jumped up to $45 per person per day.
And just like that, we are back on the W Trek. I accidentally made a mistake and booked at the Frances Refugio, which means we would only be hiking 2.2 miles today, which obviously isn't enough. Instead, we're going to be hiking to the Frances Refugio, dropping our bags off, hiking up to the Britannico Glacier, and then back down to Frances. So we're actually doing the W track over 6 days instead of 5. But honestly, I think both of us are a little tired, a little not so well conditioned, so I don't mind it.
I saw this little offshoot down to the water's edge. I feel so grateful to be here. The light off the lake this morning is just amazing. And these mountains behind us look so epic. Wow, what an incredible hike. Oh my God, a double rainbow. We are absolutely soaked now, but it is worth it.
This is so, you keep saying this looks like it's out of a car. It's also the craziest weather. It'll be like bright sunshine, and the rainbow's literally gone.
Well, there's been a slight change of plans. While it looks beautiful over the lake, that's where we're supposed to be hiking to. It's currently raining at the viewpoints in the valley where the glaciers are, and it's supposed to get worse. In fact, today is supposed to be the rainiest day of our trip. However, tomorrow is supposed to be the least rainy day. So I think that extra day that Jess booked is actually gonna turn out to be a miracle. We're almost to the next Refugio, and our plan is just to stay there for the rest of the day, get some good rest, and then we'll hike up in the morning down and do an extra long, probably about 15 miles tomorrow. It's gonna be a long day tomorrow, but I think we're gonna have much, much better views.
I've been standing here trying to take pictures of this very beautiful landscape behind me, and I literally almost got one picture. Also, I don't know if you can see this. We're staying tonight. If so, what a cool campsite.
This campground does have the best bathrooms that I've seen so far. Tons of toilets, urinals for dudes, which is nice. Huge showers with multiple hooks, plenty of places to stand, other hooks outside to hang your stuff. Also, this restaurant behind us is totally enclosed. They serve lattes in the morning. There's tons of little snacks that you can get. There's little enclosed greenhouse areas where you can just sit and make your own food or chill. And there's an enclosed gear cache area. So if you go on an early morning hike, you can leave your gear here all day with power outlets, with USB ports. So if you want to plug some stuff in and let it charge while you're out hiking, you totally can.
When I got back here to Frances, I realized that I couldn't remember where I had put my glasses in the morning. So anyway, my glasses are missing and they are back at Cuernos. We talked to the workers here and they said that they could coordinate for one of the workers who was already kind of walking to Frances as part of their job to bring it with them. We checked in with them every like 2 hours and unfortunately it's still not here.
What odds do you give it?
10%.
10%? What would you say if I told you I ran into a person and they gave me your glasses?
Do you have my glasses? Who did you run into?
Oscar, the first guy I asked.
Aw, that's amazing.
I just happened to be walking back at the exact time he was walking up and he was like, hey, you were looking for glasses, aren't you?
Oh, that's amazing. Sometimes the universe works out.
Sometimes the universe works out. It's our 4th morning and look at what's behind us.
I think this is the first time that I've ever seen it without a ton of clouds around it.
We're gonna go drop off our heavy bags at Camp Italiano, and then we're gonna hike up to the viewpoints that are in the canyon of the mountains. After we do that, we'll come back down, get our bags, and then it should be relatively easy, 4-ish miles along the coast of the lake.
Still gonna be around like 11-ish miles total, so not super easy, but we got this. We've been told by multiple people that this is the hardest day. So far, the hike has been pretty flat, but I think it's about to get a lot steeper.
There's like a thin blanket of glaciers that just totally cover the top of the entire mountain range. We're only like 5% of the way into today's hike and my jaw has just been on the ground. It's so beautiful here. Jess and I just heard an avalanche and I looked up and here is a plume of snow. People kept telling us that we would see them, but I hadn't seen one yet. We keep hearing them off in the distance. They're super loud.
They sound like thunder. It's kind of cool. So we started this video highlighting kind of the crowds and some of the over-tourism in the area. To be honest, everything but Torres del Paine really hasn't been overly crowded. The trails are immaculate. I've literally never seen a piece of garbage, so I do think the people that visit here are very respectful. If anything, I would say maybe they should introduce some kind of quota system for Torres del Paine, because I totally understand how that area is getting very heavily touristed. I don't think this is what a lot of people think of when they think of South America, but like, whoa, if you love mountain landscapes and waterfalls and glaciers, like, come here. This is amazing. Before coming here, we had read some reviews of people that were like, yeah, Britannica is kind of worth coming to. It's up to you if you want to go or not. And I'm so glad that we did it. When I think about Patagonia, I kind of think of these jagged mountains towering out of the ground. And that's exactly what you get here. There's all of these like really craggy mountain peaks covered in glaciers. It's just stunning. We've been to mountains all over the world and I've never seen anything quite like this. So if you're doing the W trek, I'd highly recommend making the extra trek up to Britannico. We just picked up our bags, as you can see, and we left Italiano and are hiking towards Grande Refugio, which is our last stop of the day. I think it's about 5 miles. We're actually starting a little bit later than I would have liked to. It's like 3:30 p.m., but I think hopefully we'll be okay.
Jessica and I are so pooped right now, but do you want to know something exciting? We are officially on the last leg of the W.
Oh, I thought you were going to say we're almost there.
Well, that too. We're only 0.8 miles away. What? I thought you'd be excited. We're on the last arm of the W. Isn't that exciting?
I'm so excited.
We are so tired. We can see our campsite off in the distance, and nothing makes me happier.
We were way too pooped last night to film anything within... Where am I? We were way too pooped last night to film anything within Grande, but I think this is a good time to kind of highlight the couple differences there are between the refugios. So the first 3 refugios that we were at, Cuernos, Chileno, and Frances, are all owned by Los Torres Patagonia, one company, and then the other refugios here are owned by a second company called Vertices. You have to book with those 2 companies separately, so it makes planning just kind of logistically challenging because the refugios do sell out. Since this was the first Vertice refugio that we had stayed at, we are totally blown away. We actually got our own private room. I think this might be the only refugio that has private rooms, but like everything about it was nicer. They have these like cute wood burning fireplaces, these cozy little lounge areas. In our room, there's electrical outlets, like actual electrical outlets that work, a table, a locker situation. We have actual sheets on our bed, and best of all, it was only $100 per person, only $100 per person per night, which makes it almost half as cheap as all of the ones in Los Torres, Patagonia.
It is the second to last morning, and unfortunately we weren't lucky enough to skip rain the entire time. We're headed towards Mirador Grey, and I don't know what else to say. Vamos.
And just like that, it stopped raining, at least for now. We got to our first lookout of Lago Grey, or Grey Lake, and you can actually see icebergs behind me. The kind of big attraction here is Glacier Grey, and obviously it has icebergs that break off.
We're about halfway done. It is just wet and gross today. I think we've got about 3.5 miles to go, and then I'm gonna take a hot shower.
We are just getting our first view of Glacier Grey, and wow, it is so much more massive than I would have imagined. I think this may be the biggest glacier we've ever seen before. It's huge.
That's really cool.
Given that the entrance to the park is around, I think, $90 per person, and then the refugios are all $100 per person at least if you're, you know, staying someplace with sheets and things like that. It would be nice, I don't know if you can see behind me, but there's like some areas of the trail that's like just a little not very well maintained. We've crossed several broken bridges, things like that. So I'd be curious to know whether that is something that with their recent price increases that they're planning on sort of addressing. We only have 6.5 miles, so it will be our shortest hiking day, and we're actually almost there already.
We have made it to our last Refugio!
That's exciting.
And we've officially traced the entire W.
We checked into Refugio Grey, and then the W track actually technically continues on a little bit past that to go to Mirador Grey, which is a viewpoint over the glacier. And then additionally, you can hike to 2 suspension bridges. I think we're probably only gonna hike to one of them because we're a little on the tire side, but hopefully we get some cool views of the glacier.
Wow, what a... It's so cool though.
It is really cool.
Wow, that is quite the view. Oh my God. I have to focus. These gaps are really wide. Fear of suspension bridges unlocked. That's creepy.
Yeah, it's not the most settling experience.
I think if I had seen the status of these rickety logs that this
Looks like they're doing so hot, to be honest.
There is no way I would have walked across that. Those things look like they're half eaten by termites. That one doesn't even exist at the bottom. It's just rotting away.
There's multiple ways that you can hike this. So there's the W track, which is about 45 miles. And there's also the O track, which is much bigger. This area is where people are finishing the O track, and whenever I pass people, like if I ever pass like a 5K or a marathon, it just makes me cry. And these people just look so like they're so strong, and it's very, very impressive. I'm so proud of all these.
It's really cool. There's just a constant stream of people finishing the O trek right by us, and it's very inspiring, and it makes me feel like I accomplished nothing over the last 6 days.
No, I feel like a badass, but these people are like
them.
extra super badass.
Yeah.
So if you are one of those people, you are my hero. Even though we have 6.5 more miles left of the W track hiking back to Grande, it kind of feels like this is our last official viewpoint since we've kind of passed everything else already. It's a little bit sad, but man, if you're going to end with anything, I feel like this is a pretty spectacular view to end with. Like Grande, Grey Refugio was really, really nice. They had wood burning stoves, showers with soap in them. The bedrooms had actual space in them. The only downside is that they don't have automatic hot water, which is really challenging. All of the other ones that Las Torres Patagonia own did, so we didn't bring a burner or anything with us, so we don't have any way to make hot water. So we were kind of forced to have pizza and beer last night for dinner.
Ugh, so tough.
So terrible. Today is our last day, and we are officially making it back to Grande and finishing the W track.
I thought I was gonna be so ready to be done after 45 miles. I'm like really sad to be leaving today.
Yeah, it's been really fun. I like usually set up plan most of our adventures, and so I wind up building up all these expectations in my head. My expectations have just been blown out of the water. I've had so much fun on I love hut to hut hiking. It's so much fun to hike through these beautiful landscapes at night, get to cozy up with a beer.
It's a really bougie way to do backcountry. I guess you can't even really call it backcountry camping, but yeah, it's so comfortable. You get to meet really interesting people too. Yeah. Like it's a really fun way to do it, and it's something I'm really looking forward to, especially when we travel throughout Europe, because I know that hut hiking is more common out there.
In like Italy and Switzerland. But we will see you on the trail because we have a ferry to catch.
Jessica is vibing. I would definitely say this is our windiest morning. I'm not going to complain though, because it is so incredibly beautiful. But wow, it is insane. This is the first time we've seen Jessica's face in the last 20 seconds. We're going to get some photos and then we're out of here. Well, this is the last half mile of the W track. I can see our Refugio in the distance. As the popularity of hiking increases,
trails, especially ones that have blown up on social media like the W Trek, are going to be the first to dramatically increase its prices. We wound up spending around $750 total per person on hiking the W Trek, and for us, it was totally worth every penny. But for lots of other travelers like budget backpackers and younger travelers taking a gap year, these steep prices have made this experience out of reach. This is definitely a bummer, but in some ways we think the high prices may ultimately have a positive impact on protecting Patagonia's fragile landscapes by helping quell overcrowding on its most popular trails. Given the dramatic increase of prices associated with the W Trek, generally doubling since 2019, we truly hope these extra funds are going to preserve and maintain the park and to potentially develop new trails for future outdoor lovers to enjoy.